morning, family. This is Ricky, and welcome to Hope for Today. Happy Ash Wednesday, saints of God, as we continue to move our hearts north towards the cross and the resurrection in this Easter and Lenten season. I want to take us to Luke chapter 14, verse 28. Jesus says, "For which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it?" Verse 29 says, "Otherwise, when he's laid a foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, 'This man began to build and was not able to finish.'" Now, Jesus here is, of course, talking about the cost of discipleship, reminding ourselves that when it comes to making disciples and living for God's kingdom, right, to make sure that we accept and embrace what it is we are getting into. Jesus says, don't start this thing blindly, right? Do not start this thing with a finicky attitude. Do not launch into this thing with a casual attitude. Make sure that you know what you're getting into to finish. And of course, that's the meaning here. But I think we can copy and paste that into other avenues of pursuits, namely in the way of how we invest in particular relationships, particular pursuits, careers, efforts that we make in our life. How many of us have said yes to something and then gotten into that something and realizing that, goodness, this wasn't near about worth my time or worth my energy. I could have been expending this energy on something that is far weightier matter, right? And Jesus says, you ought to do due diligence to count the cost first. In other words, you get to pause and say, Jesus, is this something you want me to do or not? Jesus, is this something I should be spending my time in or not? Jesus, is this someone I should be going deep with or not? Jesus, is this a job I should take or not? Have you ever just jumped ahead of the Lord, gotten into something, and then looked at the results of it, or it was starting to falling apart, and you thought to yourself, this juice wasn't worth the squeeze? Jesus is saying, open your eyes and pause and pray to see how he may be leading you in the ventures that you're getting opportunities to. My point is this, friend, if you are wise, you'll understand that you're only going to say yes to very few things and no to a whole lot of things. So much so that the Christian needs to get real good at saying no, because those few things God has said say yes to are the things of eternal import, the things that change lives, the things that make his name famous. So open up your eyes and count the costs before you get into something. That's Hope for Today. I'll see you next time.